Oh, there we go. I never had to do that before. Okay, good morning, everyone. I'd like to call the December 13th DuPage County Finance meeting to order. Can we please take a roll call?
Member Cahill, Member Chaplin,
Here.
Member Childress,
Here.
Member Covert, Member Desart, Member Eckhoff, Member Evans,
Here.
Member Galassi, Member Garcia, Member Guston, Member Krajewski, Member LaPlante, Member Ozai, Member Rutledge,
Here.
Member Swarzy, Member Toratori, Member Yu,
Here.
and Member Zay.
Great, we have a quorum. Do we have any public comments today? No public comment. Move on to Chairwoman's remarks. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome all the new members. Congratulations. And I'd like to welcome our returning board members and looking forward to a good first meeting. And please feel free, if you have any questions, feel free to ask questions and we'll move right along. So no, just new members, members A. So okay, so can I have a motion on the Finance Committee regular meeting minutes from Tuesday, November 22nd?
Second.
I have a motion by member Zay and a second by member Toratori. Any comments? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor? Opposed? The motion carries. We move on to budget transfers. Can I have a motion on FIR 002123 budget transfers 121322 various companies and accounting units? The motion by member Garcia, a second by member Rutledge. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? The motion carries. We move on to procurement requisitions. We have finance, member Krajewski.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Move on change order, Tribune Publishing Company, a decrease $29,459.94.
I have a motion by member Krajewski, second by member Zay. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? The motion carries. Member Krajewski.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Move on change order, OpenGov Inc. revision to the original statement of work to include the integration of the balance sheet data.
I have a motion by member Krajewski, second by member Garcia. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? The motion carries. Member Krajewski.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Move for approval of agreement with Munkus LLC to provide legal services, Special Assistant State's Attorney, period December 14, 2022, November 30th, 2023, for amount not to exceed $25,000.
Motion by member Krajewski, second by member Desart. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Member Krajewski.
I move to really get this one moving forward since we're going back to December 1st. If I could move to approval of a contract with Federal Express to provide express mail services for a period starting December 1st, a week ago, through November 30th. Contract not to exceed $40,000.
Motion by member Krajewski, second by member Garcia. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? The motion carries. Member Krajewski.
And you finally move on a recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Alliant Insurance Services, provide liability insurance for the DuPage Care for amount not to exceed $342,761.
Motion by member Krajewski, second by member Garcia. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, member Krajewski. We move on to economic development. Member Eckhoff.
In regards to EDR 16-23.
I have a motion by member Eckhoff, second by member Krajewski to discharge committee. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Member Eckhoff.
Thank you. I move approval of EDR 16-23, resolution for approval of issuance of payments by DuPage County to training providers through the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity Trade Adjustment Assistant Grant.
Motion by member Eckhoff, second by member Zay. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you, member Eckhoff. We move on to economic development. Member Rutledge.
Environmental.
Or I'm sorry, environmental. Member
Good morning.
Rutledge.
Thank you, Chair. Move on ENR 0013-23, a resolution for the recommendation for the approval of grant agreement between the County of DuPage and Choose DuPage for Choose DuPage to implement and manage a sustainable DuPage in the amount of $97,500.
A motion by member Rutledge, second by member Covert. Any discussion?
Just a question. Can you explain that sustained DuPage? What does that do?
Greg, did you want to come up a little bit and talk about this?
Morning, everyone. Greg Bedloff, Choose DuPage. I'm sorry, I didn't fully hear the question.
Just wanted a little background on sustained DuPage.
Sustainable DuPage is an initiative that was started last year with Choose DuPage and the county's environmental division to promote sustainable business practices amongst the business community in DuPage County. We developed a toolkit, a suite of products that are available from energy savings to other cost savings opportunities for the business community and websites and outreach program. This is a continuation of that program, but with a specific focus on outreach to individual businesses as opposed to a broad brush approach to just promoting sustainable business practices.
Thank you, member Childress. Member Desart.
Thank you. I'm not sure it's DuPage County's responsibility to tell businesses how to do their business. And also I know that other businesses like ComEd, NICOR have programs in place where they go out to businesses, whether it's a two-person business or a factory, and tell them for free specifically how to do this very thing. So tell me why I'm wrong. Am I thinking to vote no?
Well, you're not wrong with respect to ComEd and NICOR and some of the bigger companies that go door to door, if you will. Where there's a gap is with the smaller business community, the restaurants, the hotels, and some of the mom and pop retail stores up and down Main Street. Plus, there is a myriad of other products from CPACE to green roof initiatives to recycling that is not promoted and advocated to the business community. So
Well,
this,
NICOR or ComEd would go out to the mom and pop shops too, in the restaurants, bars, and all the businesses, any business.
it's really a matter of outreach and having a more direct one-on-one communication with those smaller businesses.
So is this outreach or the businesses have to go to you?
No, this is outreach. We will be going to the businesses and we will be working with the businesses, not only on the intake process through to ComEd, through to NICOR, through to any recycling, scarce, anybody who can help the business from a sustainable perspective.
So I'm just trying to understand. So you will go out and give these businesses the resource, like you'll say, hey, ComEd will do this for you, NICOR will do this, or Scarce will do this for you. So you just educating them?
Step one, educating. Step two, concierging or shepherding through that process, because oftentimes the business community just, to your point, the bigger businesses have an environmental department within their organization that is staffed to do just that. The smaller businesses don't.
So what does your toolkit look like?
It's on our website. It is a suite of the tools. It's a process. It's the upside and the benefits of promoting sustainability and economic upside associated with sustainability.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And member Krajewski and I know in environmental, we had talked about doing a marketing push, but member Krajewski and I had concerns about that. And we talked with Greg and we talked about maybe having somebody go out to the businesses and actually make that outreach, which we thought would be more impactful, more effective, rather than a marketing campaign that people may not even look at. So
so last year when we did this, to amplify on Chair Chaplin's point, the team put together a series of events for the business community to find out the suite of products that were out there. We did lunch and learns on consecutive Thursdays throughout the month of April. We had about 300 businesses attend. And to tie into one of your questions earlier, it's safe to say that more than half of those businesses were completely unaware of any of the sustainable programs that were available to them and wanted to know where to go to learn about it, how the process works, and they just had no idea. So we've been working with those businesses to that point. And as Chair Chaplin pointed out, the intent on this one, working with the county's environmental division, is to have more, instead of a broad brush marketing website campaign and an outreach, is to physically, either through contracted services or a Choose DuPage employee or both, knock on doors and raise the awareness for sustainability in DuPage.
Go ahead, member Dessert.
So how will the $97,500 be spent? Will it be spent on salaries for people to go knock on doors, or the toolkit, or how will
The
it?
toolkit it will primarily be spent on personnel and direct outreach, because the toolkit, the website, and all of the support material has already been created through the previous program.
And are the people already in place?
No,
You
they're
already
not.
hired the people. Oh, but you said this started last year.
The last year, the program was, as I mentioned, the general broad brush outreach program,
Okay.
where we as Choose DuPage marketed it broadly. Now we're trying to be more direct and more strategic and go direct to business.
And so how many people are going to be hired with this amount of money?
I could not imagine it would be more than one.
Just one person.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, member Dessert. So I have member LaPlante, member Garcia, member Krajewski, and member you. So member LaPlante, go ahead, please.
Thank you so much, Chair Chaplin. We talked about this in environmental with Chair Rutledge. We do such a focus on how we can educate and involve all the constituents and residents of DuPage County on environmental and sustainable practices. But I brought up the issue, hey, I think we're missing a piece here, and that's the business community. So Joy was amazing to revamp and look into this. And so we're really pushing to expand our environmental focus and outreach, and really make the environmental committee broader, deeper, bigger. This is going to be much better for the community at large and for the environment and for our sustainability practices. And I think it just makes perfect sense to involve our business community. So I stand behind this. Thank you so much, Mr. Bedeloff.
Thank you, member LaPlante. Member Garcia.
Thank you, Chair Chaplin. I think I got some of my answers to my questions. One was the personnel question, and you know, I've seen this done in municipalities almost, I want to say like 15 years ago, we were starting this, and it is a full-time, almost full-time job to follow up with these businesses to try to get them to get that new ideas going. And I'm so frustrated going around to businesses. There's no recycling bins. There's so many things that can be changed. So I think this is a great program, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad that it's going to go through personnel, because I just feel that that's going to be almost full-time job. So thank you.
Yeah, and just really quick, I'd just like to also throw in there that I know, Greg, I believe you guys will also be working with Scarce as part of that, because Scarce does also do outreach to our businesses, and that's it. So I think there'll be a lot of collaboration between, all of these different entities. So thank you, member Garcia. Member Krajewski?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I know we approved a couple of weeks ago, we approved budget for $97,500 for marketing for environmental. This is going to be a marketing campaign. I know I had some conversations with the chair, Rutledge, about, if we really want to get a bang for our buck, instead of just doing a marketing effort with this $97,000, promoting it where a lot of businesses are kind of busy and they don't necessarily pay attention to emails and all the marketing you do, to have a specific person that can go out there. It also helps build your relationship with the business community and Choose DuPage County. You may be aware of other issues that businesses may face, whether it's looking to leave DuPage County or something.
Oh, bite your tongue.
I'm just saying, if you're not out talking to them, you're not going to know.
Right.
So again, I think that, instead of the marketing, the actual going out there with this 97,000 we approved a couple weeks ago, I think is a much better approach to just broad brush market.
Thank you, member Krajewski. Member Wu?
Good morning. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thanks so much for answering our questions. I just had another question with regard to how large this program is. Offhand, do you know how many businesses have actually participated in Sustainable DuPage, and with your expansion, how many more businesses you're trying to reach to?
Yeah, in the last year's iteration of Sustainable DuPage, which, as I mentioned, as member Krajewski mentioned, was the kind of the broad brush marketing campaign to do the outreach to the businesses. Between the lunch and learns, the inquiries that came into, we built out a website that has a portal for businesses to request information. It was just over about 150 businesses that participated last year. But as member Krajewski pointed out, we feel, and I think it's safe to say that Chair Chaplin and county staff felt that could only go so far, because now you have to get one-on-one with those businesses to take their environmental and sustainable practices to the next level, because the smaller businesses are the CEO and the purchasing agent and the sustainable director, and they're just wearing so many hats that it's just impossible for them to do it all. But to answer your question directly, north of 150. And there's 95,000 plus businesses in DuPage County.
Thank you. Member Guston?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Greg, thank you for this initiative. It's very, very important. I think our business owners do actually have a lot of waste sometimes that happens. And so to help them be sustainable and understand what sustainability looks like is very important. I know that there's many facets of that topic and how you approach it to the different businesses at different levels. I also was wondering if you partner with any of the municipalities or the villages that may have a full-time sustainability coordinator as we do in the city of Naperville. And maybe that tool or that relationship can help build some additional exposure and buy-in on being more sustainable for our businesses.
So Choose DuPage conducts quarterly communities meetings. As many of you know, Choose DuPage acts as a liaison between county incentive programs, county economic development initiatives, including sustainability, environmentalism, and the like. We also act as a liaison between municipalities and the state of Illinois and Comcast and the like, ComEd and NICOR and other utilities that offer these programs. During the quarterly community meetings, the municipalities participate, and each one has a topic, and that's the time when we work with the chambers of commerce and the municipalities to make sure that we're doing outreach to the municipalities as well.
Great, thank you. I have Member Rutledge.
Thank you, Chair Chaplin. Thanks everybody about your questions on this. Didn't quite expect so many questions this morning because I kind of think this is a slam dunk to be a better liaison with the business community. I know in my own community, the recycling of businesses and their sustainability practices definitely need a push in the right direction. So I'm very happy to support this, and I'll hope that you can as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Greg. Appreciate your coming up here and answering our questions. So any other questions out there? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Thank you, Member Rutledge. We move on to Health and Human Services, Member Schwarzy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to approve change order item HHSP 04378-21, an amendment to resolution HHSP -043-721 issued to Fox River Foods Incorporated, doing business as Performance Food Service, to provide secondary food supplier for the period of November 24th, 2021 through December 29th, 2022 for the DuPage Care Center, to extend contract to February 28th, 2023, and to increase encumbrance in the amount of $8,000, a 16% increase.
Motion by Member Schwarzy, second by Member Childress. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Member Schwarzy.
Thank you. I move to approve item HSP 7-23, a recommendation for a contract purchase order issued to Optimum Management Resources to provide technical assistance and consultation services to the DuPage County Homeless Continuum of Care. This contract covers the period January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2023 for community services for a contract total amount not to exceed $32,000.
Motion by Member Schwarzy, second by Member Childress. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Member Schwarzy.
Thank you. I move to approve item HSP 823, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Leading Age Illinois for annual membership dues for the DuPage Care Center for the period January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2023 for a contract total not to exceed $31,877.40.
Again.
Motion by Member Schwarzy, second by Member Garcia. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Member Schwarzy.
Thank you. I move to approve item HSP 923, a recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Medline Industries, Inc. to furnish and deliver
Second.
towels and washcloths for the DuPage Care Center residents for the period of December 14th, 2022 through December 13th, 2023 for a contract total not to exceed $35,000.
Motion by Member Schwarzy, second by Member Childress. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you, Member Schwarzy. Member Zay for Judicial Public Safety.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on JPSP 223, approval of the contract issued to Integrated Solutions Consulting for general consulting services on matters with DuPage County Natural Hazard Mitigation Plan, the amount of $73,746.48.
Have a motion by Member Zay, second by Member Garcia. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Member Zay.
Madam Chair, I move on JPSP 423, agreement with DuPage Legal Aid Foundation to provide legal services as special assistant state's attorney in the amount of $40,000.
Motion by Member Zay, second by Member Yu. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Member Zay.
Madam Chair, I move on JPSP 323, agreement with Bond Dixon and Associates to provide legal services as special state's attorney for the election division, the amount not to exceed $100,000.
Motion by Member Zay, second by Member Childress. Yes, go ahead. Member Guston, did you have a question?
No, actually, I just seconded.
Oh,
That's
okay.
fine, no problem.
Oh, okay. What? Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't hear. I heard Michael. So, okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Member Zay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on JPSP 523, approval of contract issued to Axion Enterprises for interview software for the state's attorney, Office of Children's Advocacy Center, the amount of $32,340.80.
Have a motion by Member Zay, a second by Member Desart. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Member Zay.
Thank you, Madam Chair, I move on JPSP 623, approval of contract issued to Axon Enterprises to provide interviewing software, transcript, interface cameras in the amount of $1,125,824.45.
I have a motion by Member Zay, a second by Member Desart. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Member Zay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on JPSR 223, a resolution, recommendation for approval amendment to resolution JPSR 720. Intergovernmental agreement DuPage County and Kane County for housing of detention of minors for a per diem rate increase from $135 to $175 a day.
Okay, I had a motion by Member Zay, a second by Member Schwarzy. Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, Member Desart.
Thank you. I don't know if we have anybody here from probation or court services, and I know we're kind of hamstrung by whatever Kane County wants to charge us, but this is a 30% increase. So I'm wondering, when is the last time we saw an increase in the per diem rate and why it's so much all at once? Thank you.
Morning, Bob McCollum from probation. Our last increase was 2 years ago. It went up from $120 per day to $135 per day. That contract allowed for Kane County to renegotiate if there were an increase in operational expenses. After 2 years, it has been over 2 years since that time. Detention facilities across the state are citing increase in operational costs, mainly medical, mental health treatment, personnel costs, food and commodities. We checked with other counties, specifically Will County, and they also charge the $175 per day. Kane County initially came at us with $195 a day. So we negotiated similar to the $175 at Will County.
Thanks, Bob. And how long is this contract? Remind me.
It goes through February 2024.
So just 2 years. All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Member Desart. Member Kudusky. Oh, yeah.
Yes, and when we closed the facility in 2011, our facility, it costs over $3 million per year to operate our facility. Since that time, we have saved at least $2 million per year to DuPage County.
Times 10 years.
Yes, and that was back in 2011. That was $3 million. The cost today would be in it, exceeding that.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Member Kudusky. Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the motion carries. Member Zay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on JPSR 823, additional appropriation for law library on a $2,240.
I have a motion by Member Zay, second by Member Ozak. Oh, I'm sorry, Cahill. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Zay. We move on to Public Works, Member Ozog.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First, I want to move to discharge the Public Works Committee for agenda item F7F1 amendment to FIR 0225A22.
Okay, I have a motion by Member Ozog, second by Member Desart. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Member Ozog.
Okay, I move to approve FIR 0225A22 amendment to the Water Connection Assistance Program to include Lake Michigan water main extensions. This is an ARPA item.
Motion by Member Ozog, second by Member Desart. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Member Ozog.
Okay, I move to approve FMP 000123, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to WW Granger Incorporated to furnish and deliver miscellaneous maintenance, repair, and operations parts and supplies as needed for county facilities for the period December 14, 2022 through December 31st, 2023 for facilities management for a total contract amount not to exceed $105,000. Contract let pursuant Intergovernmental Cooperation Act.
Motion by Member Ozog, second by Member Desart. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Member Ozog.
I move to approve PWCO 000123 amendment to County Contract 5391-0001 serve issued to Weatherproofing Technologies for roof restoration at various public works facilities for a change order to increase the contract amount of $43,263.51 as the purchase order was inadvertently closed before the final invoice was paid, resulting in the need for county board approval and a new contract total amount not to exceed $249,737.07, an increase of 20.95%.
Motion by Member Ozog, second by Member Desart. Any discussion? Member Glassy and then Member Garcia. Oh, I'm sorry. You second. Okay. If you got, yeah, and if you can use the microphones too when you second, that'd be helpful because it's really hard to hear in here. So I'm sorry. Oh, motion by Member Glassy, second by Member Glassy. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Member Ozog. We move on to Stormwater, Member Zay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Move on SMP 1023 approval contract issued to Water Well Solutions, furnished labor and material, in the amount of $151,190, lowest responsible bid.
Motion by Member Zay, second by Member Desart. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Member Zay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Move on SMP 1123, contract issued to Martin Construction for the Smith and Cambridge Drainage Project. Lowest responsible bid, the amount of $1,885,468.
Motion by Member Zay, second by Member Desart. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Member Zay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Move on SMR 923, intergovernmental agreement between DuPage County and the Village of Hinsdale for Fifth and Grant Drainage Project, amount not to exceed $112,000.
Motion by Member Zay, second by Member Desart. Any discussion? Member Gu.
I actually had a quick question. So as a new board member, I don't know how these IGAs are created or how they're accepted as projects. I know they're supposed to be shovel ready, but what does it mean that they're shovel ready and that we decide, that we are going to partner with this municipality?
We did a program for ARPA funding with all of our municipalities and township highway departments. For them, we don't have a ton of shovel ready projects ready. They did. So we used that. Part of that ARPA was for stormwater. So we went out, they went through a process basically of sending us their projects. They had to be approved by us and met the stipulations. And then we entered an intergovernmental agreement. It's a fund. We're not fully funding the project. We're partially funding the project.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Any other discussion questions? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Member Zay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on SMR 1023, intergovernmental agreement to DuPage County and Village of Hinsdale for Charleston Road Drainage Project, amount of $122,645.
Motion by Member Zay, second by Member Desart. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Member Zay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on SMR 1123, enter an intergovernmental agreement to DuPage County and the City of Naperville for Columbia Street Flood Improvement Project, about a $500,000 ARPA item.
Motion by Member Zay, second by Member Desart. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? The motion carries. Member Zay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Move on SMR 1223 intergovernmental agreement between DuPage County and Wayne Township Road District for storm structure replacement project on $97,650. ARPA item.
Motion by member Zay, second by member Shorzy. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carried. Thank you, member
Thank you,
Zay.
Madam Chair.
We move on to technology. Member Eckhoff.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd move to discharge the Technology Committee as the agenda items H1 and 2, number 1 being TEP 12-23 and number 2 being TEP 13-23.
I have a motion and a motion by member Eckhoff, second by member Krajewski to discharge committee on items 1 and 2. All those in favor? Opposed? The motion carries. Member Eckhoff.
Thank you, Madam Chair. To move approval of TEP 12-23, recommendation for the approval of contract the SHI International Corp. To procure network switching equipment to update the county infrastructure for information technology for a contract total amount of $406,252.53.
I have a motion by member Eckhoff, second by member Garcia. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? The motion carries. Member Eckhoff.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd move approval of TEP 13-23, recommendation for the approval of a contract to
Second.
Pictometry International Corporation, DBA Eagle View, to provide ortho and oblique aerial imagery for information technology.
I have a motion by member Eckhoff, second by member Evans. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you, member Eckhoff. We move on to transportation. Member Ozak.
Thank you again, Madam Chair. I move for approval of a change order DTP 0031A 19, amendment to resolution DTP 003119 issued to Auto Tech Centers Incorporated to furnish and deliver Goodyear tires as needed for the Division of Transportation to increase the encumbrance in the amount of $35,000, resulting in an amended contract total amount of $295,000, an increase of 13.46%.
I have a motion by member Ozak, a second by member Childress. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Member Ozak.
And we have a second change order. I move for approval of DTP 0077A 22, amendment to resolution DTP 007722 issued to Petroleum Traders Corporation Incorporated to furnish and deliver gasoline and diesel fuel as needed for the Division of Transportation and the Department of Public Works to increase the funding in the amount of $975,000, DOT $700,000, and Public Works $275,000, resulting in an amended contract total amount of $2,225,000, an increase of 76.47%.
Motion by member Ozak, second by member Garcia. Member Childress, do you have a question?
Yes, 76.47 seems like a lot to be off. How did we get to that point where it's an increase of almost, over 75%? That jumped off the page to me.
And
Chris Snyder, he'll come up to answer that question.
It's a sad, sorry story, but go ahead, Chris.
Morning, everyone. So whenever we go out for this contract, we look at prior year's pricing and usage. And a year ago, actually, when this contract went into place, it was prior to March, prior to the global events and the fluctuation in the fuel market. So we base it on the prior year, which is hovering well under $3. And so what this reflects is at this time, the fluctuation pricing throughout the year, sometimes exceeding as much as $5 per gallon, has left us with this shortfall at this point.
Okay, but will we reap any benefit? Because lately, the price of gasoline is under what it was a year ago. So we're looking at, again, an increase of 75%. I don't know if gas went up that much or not, but I'm just wondering if the fuel price continues to fall, how do we get?
Right. So our pricing is tied to, it's called the Opus market. I forget what it exactly stands for, but it fluctuates each day. So when we go out for bid, it's market plus or minus 1%. And so many of these are plus or minus a penny one way or 5 cents the other way. So as the price goes up and down, so does our price per gallon. So our price does fluctuate throughout the year. We've seen pricing, prior to this contract going into place, we were never over $3 in the prior 12 months. This year, we've been as high as $5. So at this point, we're going to our peak season for DOT, snow and ice. And we just want to make sure that we have the funding available to make sure our fleets are fueled, et cetera. What we don't use, we just decrease and close the contract, and we'll go into a new contract beginning in April.
Okay, so we're erring to the high side.
We're not erring, we're predicting to the high side.
Okay,
But this is a not to exceed as well.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not to exceed, so we will pay what we pay per day.
Per gallon.
thank you.
Does that help?
Thank
Okay,
you.
great. Thank you. Member Krajewski? Oh, your mic, Brian.
We discussed this at transportation, and one of the items we discussed is some of our municipalities and townships just go to the corner gas station and they're paying more than we're getting through this discount program, that we're gonna look at to maybe do joint purchasing with some of those municipalities or townships, kind of like we do with the salt and.
Yes, we have a very successful SALT program where we go out and many of our municipalities and townships partner on that. We're right now surveying our municipal partners, and there seems to be quite a bit of interest to kind of go out as a small cooperative, as a county cooperative, and they give competitive, hopefully more competitive pricing.
Great, thank you. Any other questions for Chris? Okay. Any other questions in general? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the motion carries. Thank you, Member Ozog. We move on to finance resolutions. Member Krajewski?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to combine items 8A through D, all acceptance and appropriation resolutions.
Brian, I'm sorry, did you say A through
A through D.
D? Okay.
all
We have a motion to combine items A through D in a second by Member Covert. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the motion carries. Member Krajewski?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on approval of amendment, acceptance and appropriation of the Illinois Emergency Management Agency Hazard Mitigation Grant, $83,040, which is a correction of the accounting that used to establish the grant, Scrivener's error. FIR 0006-23, resolution acceptance appropriation giving DuPage staffing grant for $20,000. FIR 0015-23, with acceptance and appropriation resolution of the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity Trade Adjustment Assistance Grant for $123,884. And finally, FIR 0017-23, acceptance or appropriation of DuPage Animal Friends unrestricted grant of $50,000. I want to thank them again for another contribution.
Motion by Member Krajewski, second by Member Garcia. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the motion carries. Member Krajewski?
Big Madam Chair, I move on FIR 0018-23, resolution authorization to extend a memorandum of understanding with ASME.
Motion by Member Krajewski,
Items.
second by Member Garcia. Any discussion? Member Dessert?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm just wondering why this is an ARPA item. Or how this qualifies as ARPA.
Okay, Nick Hotmeyer will come up here. Thank you, Nick.
It's an employee contract. I just, yeah, you could explain that.
This is simply an extension of the hero pay that was done as part of whenever there's a COVID unit. And this is extending it because the current hero pay is expiring.
Thank you. Okay, all in favor? Opposed? The motion carries. Member Krajewski?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on FIR 0019-23, resolution revision to the personnel policy manual.
I have a motion by Member Krajewski, second by Member Garcia. Any discussions? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Member Krajewski, we move on to informational, and I'll call on Member Krajewski again.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to receive and place on file informational items, A, payment of claims, B, wire transfers, C, grant proposal notifications.
I have a motion to receive and place on file items A, B, and C under informational by Member Krajewski, second by Member Garcia. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you, Member Krajewski. We move on to old business. Do we have any old business today? Okay, move on to new business. Any new business? No new business. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Motion by Member Krajewski, second by Member